But happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to this week's Art of Homeownership training. Excited to have Robert on this week. Robert is a real estate agent out of Nashville. And the purpose of today's training, which we got a lot of requests for from our lending partners on the platform, is to really kind of understand how to help our real estate partners in our local markets, the partners we currently work with and the ones that we want to work with, really help them understand what Art of Homeownership is, what it can do for them, how it will benefit not only their business, but more importantly, how it will benefit the lives of their clientele. So without further ado, and please feel free, if you're going to ask questions, type it in the chat. That'll be better than the Q&A. I have the chat up so I can kind of see it here. So if you have any questions, type it in the chat. But Robert, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So team, this is a full disclaimer. This is the first time I've ever met Robert. We didn't prep for this. I didn't say, make sure to say good things. This is literally, me just pretending like I'm meeting a realtor for the first time and talking about what makes us unique and special and how Art of Homeownership helps. So if you're a real estate professional on the call, this is going to be kind of your way of seeing how this will help you even further in your real estate business and how you can integrate it more. And as a lending professional, how you can work more closely with your real estate partners. So Robert, again, welcome to the call. Thank you for being here. What, if any, do you know about Art of Homeownership? You were referred to us by one of our current Art of Homeownership partners. What's your current awareness of the platform?
I'm definitely not an expert with all the programs, but what I do know about the different services offered is I see the value and I leverage it. I probably could do always better, but I leverage it to help stand out amongst the noise.
Got it. So I'm going to walk you through really how I would help you or coach you use the platform, as a real estate professional. So hopefully that will give you more awareness around what you and your team can be doing on a daily basis. What type of, if you don't mind me asking, what type of production do you do? How many families do you typically help in a year? What's your price point?
Sure. So our team easily does. We just expanded. So I run a multi-state team, and then I have a global real estate coaching company.
Oh, great.
So our team just added on a few new members. We easily do, I think, about 40, 50 million. And that's on the low end. Our target is around 200.
Okay, awesome. And how many families would that be helping per year?
So 40, 50, that's looking at 40 transactions right around
Got
there.
it. Okay. So you're helping roughly, 12 people, 13 people a month.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I'm going to share my screen here and I'll just kind of walk you through the platform and then we can, answer any questions you have and kind of dig down to help you really understand it here. So that didn't open up. There we go. All right. Can you see my screen here?
I can.
Awesome. So this is my personal Art of Homeownership page for my team, my production staff. But we'll get through some of that here in a second. The reason why we created Art of Homeownership, Robert, was to not just stand out from the rest of the realtors and lenders in the marketplace, but because I think it's inappropriate and borderline irresponsible as real estate and mortgage professionals to sell someone an incredibly large liability, which is their primary residence. It's not really an asset unless it makes money for them. And then give them a mortgage liability and they just assume that they know what they're going to do. So I'd love to just start by asking you, what are some of your biggest challenges you guys face as a real estate team today? And what do you foresee some of your challenges being, 3 to 5 years from now?
Sure. Got plenty of those. So I think one of the biggest ones, so just real quick so you understand the context, is that I love building stuff. I build systems and processes. It's how we scale. It's how the real estate company is global. It's how the team is multi-state. But But one of the hardest things in that process of growing is the systems and processes. Every time I want to do something new, I may have a great idea, a new service, a new feature, a new strategy, but to do any of those things right, it requires a setup, and then it requires maintenance. It requires someone to be an expert and to run those things. And so that's a big challenge that I face every time I want to expand, is how do I have the manpower and the resources to make sure that this thing is even useful, that it even reaches its potential and the goal that we have for it.
Got it.
So that's one of them.
Yeah. What else? I'm kind of taking notes as we go here.
Yeah. And then another is effectively communicating the value to the client. That's really hard. We offer, and honestly to the agents too that are under me, we offer so much value, but we can't just make a PDF and send it and then be like, there you go. It's a process of trying to educate and help the client and the agents themselves on how these things work and how they're valuable and how to implement them. And that's just a huge time and resource expenditure as well. And so that's definitely another challenge point for sure.
Got it. Okay. What about when you say communicating value to the client, you're referring to just the value of using your team versus other real estate professionals, correct?
Yes, and also current clients who,
Sure.
right? We roll out so many different services and features all the time, and you know this. You have to build a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all the services ever, but if they don't know and they don't use it and they're not in front of you and they're not having a relationship with you, then it doesn't matter and you're still going to lose them, or at least the potential value that you could build with them is not going to be reached because you don't have the relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Anything, and what about 3 to 5 years from now? What do you see your biggest challenges being as the real estate market evolves, as online real estate and lending companies emerge and try and kind of do what Zillow's doing, for lack of a better term?
I mean, I think that it's still the same problems. That's what I keep seeing year over year. I used to think it was just a simple problem, was just increased production. And then I learned very quickly that if you increase your chaos in your life, that doesn't somehow equal order. And that is not duplicatable. That's the thing. I have agents. I have to duplicate this process for every client. And then an agent has to be able to duplicate this process for their clients. And so really the challenges ended up being the same. I can teach someone how to do more production, but can I do it to 100 different agents? I can teach a client the process of owning a home and I can nurture them. I could do a lot of this stuff manually, but that's not scalable. That's not
Right.
reasonable. And so again, the challenges became the same things that were in the short-term challenges, which is how do I continue to grow and scale at the rate that is needed? How do I add services in a reasonable time frame that reach their value, that reach their potential? And I mean, that's how I separate myself from Zillow. I do offer services and features Zillow doesn't have, but I have to keep doing that. I have to keep staying on top of this. I can't just say I'm good today and then next year think I don't have to improve.
Yeah, it was interesting. I had a meeting with the real estate team yesterday and asked them similar questions. And one of the things they had mentioned was just, being at really clearly defining their value proposition, because, without talking about customer service, which everyone says they're going to have, without talking about, experience or,
I'm local, I'm born and raised here.
Yeah, you could probably name it way better than I could. All those types of things that everyone talks about, but when I think about value as a consumer, I don't think about the transactional value. I think about long-term value, right? Which is the same reason why if I'm looking at 2 products at the store, I don't want the cheapest one because it's going to be good today. I want the one that's going to be best for the next 5 to 10 years. So it may cost more, but I need to know that, over time, it will save me more money because I have to buy 10 of these over 10 years. I could buy one of these for 10 years. And so when I really started to kind of dig down and ask, well, what is your value after the transaction closes, right? Because they're thinking transactional value, you need to expand that scope, and they just didn't have anything, right? There was no answer other than, well, we try and stay close to them. So I'm going to walk you through this here, and I want to make sure that you can ask the questions about some of the things that are important to you. Which one is implementation, right? How do you implement this? How do you scale it? How can you make sure that it's something you can communicate well to the consumer? And ultimately, you could do any one of these on your own, but marketing it as a all-encompassing product is really where we're going to help you stand out. So first thing, obviously, we're going to offer to the client is the home concierge service. How familiar are you with this product?
I feel like I know how I describe it, but I would not say that if you asked me to explain it in more depth than basically what's listed right there, not confident.
Got it. So first thing, when it comes to implementing it or having your clients be able to communicate, or I'm sorry, your agents communicate it to your clients, this is something that I've interviewed a ton of agents, right, and had a lot of conversations. And I've always asked, have you ever yourself, or have you ever known any agent that is committed to proactively helping their clients keep their home in great shape and increase the home's value over time? Everyone says, well, there's some people that say, well, yeah, I tell them to call me if they need like a repair or anything like that. I said, nope, that's reactive. I said proactive. And everyone says, no, yeah, we don't know how we would ever commit to that. And so the first thing is being able to really get that across to the client. Mr. Smith, if you just buy this home, you will just own a home. But if you partner with us, if you allow us to help you with this, our commitment is to help you be a really successful homeowner. One of the ways in which we do that is we have a product called the Art of Homeownership, which has 8 different services that are going to help you, not just now, but for 30 plus years down the line. And the first thing we do is we help you with the home concierge service, right? So we're going to help you keep your home in great shape on a proactive, ongoing basis. So what's going to happen is, once we find you your home and once we get you into that property, we're going to have a home concierge where basically it's like a personal assistant for your house. So if you're in a market where we're doing in-home visits, somebody can come to the house, upload the information, and if not, they're going to be currently rolling out a digital feature of it. But right now in your market, Robert, they're not currently doing in-home visits. So what you say is when the transaction closes, right, you're going to get an email from your concierge and they'll want to connect with you. That way you can upload your appraisal, you can upload your home warranty information, you can upload your home insurance, and they'll get as much information about your house as they possibly can. And then on a weekly basis, Mr. Smith, you're going to get an email that says, hey, it's been 6 months, time to change your air filter. Here's the one you need. Or, it's, summer's coming, do X, winter's coming, do Y. And it's all regionally located, so it'll be very specific to your home. Those are the things that are going to help you really be proactive in the maintenance of your home as opposed to reactive as things are breaking or falling apart. If you ever then need any work done to the property, you can go into your account, you can click request a service. These are some of the popular services that you'll probably want and or need. And because they're going to know about your home, they can get you accurate bids from vetted professionals in the local market. If you want one of those bids done, they'll send somebody out. They'll then keep the receipts for that job. They'll keep the vendor contact information. So if that job ever, if you ever need anything in plumbing or whatever that job is, we know who to call. And then it'll keep all of your services over here. So you'll have some discounted services. It'll have your job history, any active jobs, any bids received, all your information about your home, paint colors, carpet types, kitchen information, bedroom, bathroom, so on and so forth. So this is going to be something where if you use any agent, they say, oh, well, call me if you need anything. And then they'll try and find somebody and then you won't know if they're really vetted or not. And if something goes wrong, then you're kind of just up the creek because you have to deal with it. However, if something goes wrong through our platform, the company that we work with is secondarily insured on that product. So they'll make sure it gets right. So you kind of have a backstop to make sure any contractor work or any upgrades or anything go really well. What questions do you have about this product that we can help you with?
I mean, honestly, just how to communicate it.
Yeah.
Like so, how do it?
That was kind of me just kind of, role playing to the consumer, right?
Oh, my bad.
No worries. So we can switch now. So like when you have for you and your team on how to implement it, how to communicate it, that would be how you communicate it, right? That would be, basically what I just mentioned would be what you want to say to that client. When you work with your art of home ownership lender, so in this case, transaction closes, just know that your art of home ownership lender is going to do this work, right? We're trained on doing post-closing calls with the client, where when the transaction closes, most lenders just say, all right, congratulations, Mr. Smith, enjoy the new home, congrats on your mortgage, and call us if you need anything. And then they never hear from the lender again. So what we do is we spend about 20 to 30 minutes as art of home ownership professionals on the phone with the client after closing, and we explain yours and our relationship with Mr. Smith for the next 30 plus years. All right, so we go through a full detailed analysis of what they can expect, when they can expect it, why it's important to them, and how they should engage with it. So as long as the transaction closes with us, they're going to know about it in the initial meeting. We're going to talk to them about it when the transaction closes, and make sure that as we follow up with them throughout the years, which we do every single year, we do annual financial reviews, we're going to ask them, hey, how's this service going? Are you using it well? Do you need help with it? So a lot of the heavy lifting as your lending partner will be done by us. However, when you're out, door knocking or, farming or whatever it is you do to generate your business, you do want to make sure you're incorporating your art of home ownership platform into this in some way. Just because, you're kind of the tip of the spear. And if somebody's choosing between real estate agents, we want you to have this, all of this, but, specifically this as a substantial leg up. Any questions about this in general?
No, I mean, it's awesome.
Cool. So the next thing that we're going to commit to the clients, and this is really important, the real estate agents that we've worked with over the last couple of years that have implemented this have seen incredible results for two reasons. One is that the average homeowner has no clue what their net worth through real estate is. And if they're even remotely close to it, they likely then don't even know what they can or should do with that money, right? With that equity in the home. So we can commit to helping our clients understand their net worth through real estate on a month-by-month basis. And it will be the most accurate accounting of their net worth through real estate that they can find anywhere online. That's a pretty powerful statement to be able to tell someone, because you can tell it to them on closing date, but what happens a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Right? They have to do that work on their own, and they feel, quite frankly, undermanned to be able to do it because they don't have that education. When it comes to our side of the business, this is how it helps. So, being an art of home ownership partner, you'll be able to log in to your dashboard here, your activity dashboard, and you'll be able to basically have predictive analytics on everything that your clients are doing and seeing in regards to their real estate. Have you seen this page at all yet?
I believe I've seen it, but definitely not something where it's imprinted.
Sure. So this is our version of it. Over the last 30 days, we sent out 1,433 of them. Are you aware what the average email open rate is for real estate or lending related subjects?
Is it 9%?
Yeah, close, about 6%.
Oh, okay.
So, if a real estate or mortgage related email goes out, on average, industry wide, you'll get about a 6% open rate. Ours is 71%. And it's not because, we have better pictures or better recipes than the average person that's sending these things out. It's because the clients actually want this information, right? And we teach them why they want this information. So what that does is it gives us really good analytics. So for example, all these people have opened their report in the last, everyone from here up in the last hour. So it's a good time for us to reach out to Johnny because, over the last 30 days, he just clicked on a listing 27 minutes ago. That means he's actively thinking about buying real estate. He's viewed his home's market. He's, listing search listings. Like, this would be a really good person to call today. So our team will call him today. We can also see his activity. Right? Every single month, Johnny's opening this thing multiple times per month. And we can see here exactly what he's looking at and why he's looking at it. So this is what your clients will get every month. It's kind of like a digital interactive bank statement for their house, which is incredibly useful for you to know, right? So quick check, does your value seem right? I'm not going to click up or down because it'll do that for him. I'm just going to mark off it. But when I tell Johnny that this is going to be the most accurate accounting of his real estate in terms of the value and the equity, I can say that because every 6 months we teach him to click tune value. And what that means is you and us, we're going to get an email saying, hey, Johnny wants an updated estimate of his value. So we'll run a CMA. He'll know that we've set that value, not some algorithm that Zillow or Redfin put out there. And then it's going to adjust every month. So he's always going to come here to look for anything real estate or finance related. He's not going to go to the places that most of America goes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically Zillow proofing yourself, right? You and your team will be always the place the client looks. He can see those homes in high demand and actually picking up quickly. So if he clicks that, he can actually go in here and then he'll watch me, or in this case, if you set it up, you can do your own videos, and we have all the scripts and everything for you and your team to do the videos. He can watch exactly what it means, right, that his market's going up. He can see how it's moves. He can go search other homes in the area. He can actually see homes, or he can just reach out with a click of a button, just ask us a question. So this is why this is such a valuable tool, not only for your clients, but for you, right? They'll be able to see, if refinancing makes sense. They can play around and toggle around with how long they're going to be in the property. They can see how much they pay on their mortgage by paying different amounts. And then if there was enough equity in the home, they'd be able to see other home types they could buy, investment properties. So it's a really valuable tool. It'll actually also show any Airbnb or VRBO valuations as well, if the internet actually worked. What questions do you have about what the client sees and how beneficial it is to them? And then what questions do you have about how it will actually help you and your agents, your business?
I think I'd just be more curious to see, like, I mean, I see the open rate. So people are actually going in and doing things. Now, how much work has been presented to them to make them do that? Does that make sense?
It's a really great question. Yeah, I love that. So we present this to, again, as your lending partner here, this would be, assuming that we were working together. As your lending partner, we have this conversation with the client in the initial consultation. So before they even buy a home. And then when they go into contracts, we show it to them one more time in the contract meeting, just briefly letting them know what they're going to be getting moving forward. We want them to feel comfortable with their decision. But the post-closing call is where we really talk about this, right? So in the post-closing call, if you were my client, I'd say, Robert, one of the things that you want to keep an eye out for is every month you're going to get an email from us. And it's your real estate wealth digest. It'll say, your updated value for 123 Main Street is ready. Know that it is way more than a home valuation tool. So you're going to want to open it, click on it, and then you're actually going to want to work your way down and ask questions, right? Click on the buttons. Every 6 months, you want to tune that value. It's like a digital interactive bank statement for your house. My assumption is you probably look at your bank account maybe once a month at least, right? Client says yes. I say,
yeah, sorry, I'm thinking.
No worries. I can see the wheels turning. But you're likely going to have more money in your home than you will in your bank account, right? 85% of people's wealth is in their home typically. So this is why you want to look at this so intently every month. And then as you're going through it, like if you have a question and you're not sure about what something means, click the button, it'll email us and we'll automatically get back to you. Right? You don't have to pick up the phone. We don't have to have a long drawn out conversation. Now we can, and we will if we really want to work through something. But a lot of times people just want to know, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? So we allow you to really be proactive with owning the equity in your home and not just letting your home own you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely make sure to look at it every month, ask us questions, engage with it. And a little, pro tip here, our clients that are the most engaged with our Art of Homeownership platform, they end up becoming the most successful homeowners that we have, right? So this is not something that just kind of happens. It's something that, as long as you use the platform the way it's intended, and keep in mind, we're investing in this platform for you every single year, right? So we're investing in you because our measure of success has nothing to do with how many homes we sell. It has everything to do with how successful our clients like you become, which is why it's important that you understand this.
That's awesome. So you said that every 6 months you encourage them to do the tune-up. or fine tune. Is that manually done? Is that automatically done? Is that something the agent should do? How do
Yeah. So
we integrate ourselves to help maximize this as well?
yeah. So if it's your client, you're going to one that's going to get the notification. So if they click tune value here, then it'll ping you. You'll get an email saying, Johnny Harris wants a home valuation on his property. And you can do that in whichever manner you'd like. If you can easily and quickly run a comparative market analysis, then you can just run it, see what it is, and then you go in on the back end of your system and you just update the value really quickly, and he'll get an email saying that Robert and the team have updated your home valuation. Call or reach out if you have any questions. But it's a really great time to not only update the home value, but pick up the phone and call and say, hey Johnny, we just updated your valuation. Here's where we believe it is. Here's why. Help me understand. Is it I know we wanted you to do this every 6 months. Are you planning on anything? Are you planning on selling, moving up, moving down, out of the area, investment property?
Right.
Because just knowing your home value is one thing. Yep, knowing your home value is one thing, but knowing what you could potentially do with it is another. So how can we help? Right? Just conversations. And keep in mind that this shouldn't just be to your past clients who you've already helped. Right? You guys help 140 people a year roughly.
Right.
But imagine if you put in 1,400 people a year into this platform.
Right. I've got 3,173 in my database right now.
Yeah. So, and you won't be talking to those people nearly as much as you talk to your past clients. But if you get them into this and they start using the platform, now you're having these conversations with all the people that you'd want to have these conversations with. Right.
Is there a certain type of people we wouldn't want to put in this program?
No. Anyone who has a name, phone number, email, and a home address. Right?
Bad credit, renters.
Nope, we want everyone. Right. So renters would go through the buyer side of this platform, which is, I'll show you that here in a second. Jeff had a question, says, what does it mean that the client is looking at listings? HomeBot shows listings. I thought this was more value and equity of the home. So it's not, right? So the reason why people look at their value is because they may want to sell. And if they want to sell, they probably want to buy, right? So you want them to show nearby homes in the market. And it says, what if you sold your home for $829 and pocketed some equity and moved to a new home, right? Then they want to see what they could do there. They could actually move to this new home and make this amount of money. All right. So it helps them become sellers and buyers by calculation of income, which is, exactly what we want our clients to be doing, is getting this information to be able to know what to do and how to do it. To your question, Robert, about, if they're renters, you definitely want them to get in this platform, because the renter side of it, let me go in here. So there's buyers, right? Which is, let's see here. So we can go in and we can just preview her report. And this is what renters get, right? So they can see where their markets are. They can see these are the best markets for her to look, the buying timeline, what they can afford, average price. They can look at areas they maybe weren't thinking about. They can click buttons, how long it would take and why, what price point can you afford. This
information is populated. Are they, if they're a renter and they know they're a renter right now?
Correct.
Is this information still being populated from an actual, the pre-approval process, or is this just a quick call with the lender?
It's really from their price point, right? So they can change their price point here. And based on,
do they even need to go to the, genuinely asking, because if, shout out to Brent Willis, who's the lender I partner with.
Yeah.
I can't bog him down with 2,000 renter phone calls. So what I'm trying to say is,
yeah, you can. He'll find a way to make that work. I promise. That's exactly. So look, every lender on here would love 2,000 renters calling them, asking them about buying a home. That's exactly what we want.
Now, do they sign up first and then later we bring them into the lending, or is this talk to the lender first thing?
So somebody would go through. Yep. So someone would sign up for art of home ownership, right? You put their information in here, or you can do a mass upload of all the people in your system, and then we can automatically, include them in the platform, and they're going to get a welcome to art of home ownership email. And then the ones that engage, right? The ones that, if it says they're a renter, they're going to get the buyer version or the renter version of Art of Homeownership. If they're a homeowner, they're going to get the homeowner version of Art of Homeownership. So the renter version will ask them to just click into the system, and then they will put in their price point, like what do they want to buy? And then based upon that, it'll send them a report that looks like this. So if you want to buy, and these are the areas you want to buy in, well, these are the homes that are going to be that are probably best for you. But if that doesn't make sense, here's some other markets. How long could it take? What price point based upon different interest rates? They could see they could have afforded more here, but less here. But now they can actually afford more because rates have come down a touch. So this is just incubating all of your renters or prospective buyers to at some point click and engage, right? How do I lock in my maximum price point? Interest rates are critical. How do bang, click button. So Brent may not get 1,000 phone calls, but he may get a couple hundred emails of people who are interested in learning, which is everybody's goal here.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So there, hopefully you understand that this is one of those tools that you will find an incredible opportunity with. And the more that we help people engage, and the more that your agents understand that when they're out there talking to people, they could literally be at the grocery store, they could be at an event, they could be at a soccer field, just talking to people, and they no longer, as real estate agents, because correct me if I'm wrong, but if someone doesn't want to buy or sell a house, what can you offer them?
Right.
Now,
very limited.
Almost nothing, right? Like advice and conversation. But now, if someone says, "Oh yeah, I own a home down the street. Oh, you interested in selling?" No. Well, I'm not sure if you're aware, but our company is actually actively involved in changing the entire real estate industry. What do you mean? Well, most real estate agents only help you buy or sell homes if you're interested. Our company and our team specifically, we help people proactively, well before a transaction, during, and then years and years after. If your current agent or whoever you're using isn't offering you this, I apologize, but we'd be happy to sign you up for the platform. We're not selling anything. There's nothing that you have to pay for. This is something we actually invest in for our clients, but it'll help you in so many ways. If you want, I can show you real quick and be happy to sign you up. All right. So now you can add value to every single human being you run across. And then, at that point, they become a client of yours. Now, they're not a transaction yet, but I'll be super surprised if when they want to or need to have a transaction done, you're not the first person they click or reach out to through this platform.
Right.
So when you think about lead generation, you're lead generating on steroids here, because you're not just trying to attract the people who want to buy or sell right now, because those are called bloody waters, right? When someone shows they want to buy or sell a home on the internet, thousands of people descend on them and pay money to try and get that person's information and call and get that information. Well, there's 99% of America who doesn't want to buy or sell a home in the next 12 months. No one's talking to them. All right. So go lead generate your heart out and use this platform to show value. And then over time, when that person does want to buy or sell, you'll likely know first, because you and your team will have likely helped them get to that position.
Awesome.
Any questions on the digest?
No.
Okay. Now, in regards to the annual financial review, this is something that our clients really love once they know what it is and why they're getting it. So think through the last family that you helped buy a home, whoever that may be in your head. You've just put them into a situation where they have a home, they likely have a mortgage, right, if they didn't pay cash, and they almost certainly don't know if they have an umbrella policy, if their home and auto insurance is appropriate or costly, if they have disability or life insurance, or if it's even necessary to protect that house in the event of a bad event happening. So we're just assuming they know that. And I think we're all pretty aware the average consumer has no clue about these things, right? Because we don't teach it anywhere in our society. We're assuming that they understand how to budget now with their new housing payment, right? That they understand what to do with their savings if there are some. They understand how to retire with their real estate, or that they know how to allocate those funds appropriately. They know how to invest, and then they make sure that they're really maximizing their tax benefits now that they're a homeowner, right? All assumptions, all really bad assumptions, because they won't likely know any of these things. Generational wealth. We're assuming that they're talking to their parents and their children about what's next for them. Are their parents going to be a financial liability or a financial windfall? Right? Are they planning for children to go to college? Are they going to help their children at some point buy a home? Most people don't ever go through the exercise. They just, when it shows up, they go, oh, well, yeah, I guess we need to deal with this now. Where just the right questions at the right time can help save people thousands and make them thousands, if not more. Real estate planning. I'm sure if you asked your team how many clients went from, I think I should buy a home, to actually buying a home in less than a week, that number is probably 80%. Very few people forward plan their real estate, right? It's more of an emotional decision. Like, oh, Susie next door bought a house. Maybe we should buy a house. And all of a sudden they're buying a house, right? Not because it was part of their overall financial plan or their strategy, just because they felt like it. So this is something that we help our clients with. And then credit and debt management. There's a reason that Amazon has billions of dollars in debt, right? I mean, it's $1 trillion company, but you think, well, why don't they just pay off all their debt? Because strategically using debt is really important to understand, overall financial wealth. The average real estate agent talks about none of these things.
Right.
So if you want to communicate your value to the client and create systems where every agent in every state that you're operating your business can depend on, you all now can say, hey, Mr. Smith, as a team, these are the things that we do. Every single year, our financing team is going to reach out to you and proactively help you as your life is constantly changing and evolving. Every other real estate agent, and I can say this with a lot of confidence, will sell you your home, and then you might get a pie on Thanksgiving. Like that's their continual strategy, right? They just market to you so you don't forget about them. We actually feel like we can make a difference and help you not just own a home, but be a very successful homeowner. So every year we're going to go through insurance, financial acuity, general, overall generational wealth, real estate planning, forward thinking, and helping you with anything credit and debt related. So these calls are going to be important. And when's the last time somebody called you that was just helpful and valuable, but didn't sell you something? And then they laugh and they go, yeah, that's never happened. And say, look, we are changing what the expectations are of a professional real estate agent. Most real estate agents are just transactional. They just want to help buy and sell homes, and then good luck. That's not us. So you can count on the fact that your lending partner will do this, and your clients will be hugely beneficial for it. And selfishly, it will create a lot more transactions and referrals.
Right.
Any questions about this?
Who's doing it? Is it the
lending partner?
So it just seems like if you're scaling and growing, how feasible is it for them to schedule potentially hundreds of these a year?
Well, I mean, think about it. There's roughly 220 some odd working days in the year. I mean, if they have to do one a day, it takes 15 to 20 minutes.
So you're just saying having it spaced out rather than just letting it.
Yeah, if you get 200, annual financial reviews in a day, that'd be a challenge. But obviously that's not likely because you help people throughout the years, and so
right.
The annual financial review comes on different days of the week and different times throughout the year. And it's something that just to be really clear, this is not something that every client takes advantage of.
I would assume just like all the services and benefits that we offer as a team. I mean, honestly, I would say 80% of them they don't really utilize.
Well, it's probably because they don't understand the why. Right? Like if they don't understand how it will benefit them and they just feel like it's this thing that's kind of there, then yeah, they're not going to do it. So it's our responsibility to explain on the post-closing call how valuable this is. And we use storytelling all the time. So, we'd say, look, someone's parents passed away and left them the home and they didn't know what to do with it and they didn't know to call us, right? Someone got laid off on their job and needed to sell their home and downsize and didn't know to call us. Like you'll have access to all of our real estate and mortgage advisors through this platform, but it shouldn't be reactive. It should be proactive. And so every year we're going to be proactive with this. And so then they start realizing, okay, there is some value to this.
Right.
And we're actually actively working on a financial freedom score right now where we can show people kind of where they are in their financial freedom journey. and help them throughout the years move that higher and higher till at some point they get to 100% financial freedom. And so we can kind of gamify that over time, which is kind of our next iteration. But right now we're just doing it kind of manually.
Because like I said, with my challenge points, right? Those weren't made up. Those are real ones.
Yep.
You know, one of my goals, like you said earlier, was every person I meet, I have something of value to bring them. So I went and I built my own credit education course that teaches clients how credit works, how to build it themselves. I did this so that I didn't have to turn people away anymore. I didn't have to say, sorry, hopefully you can go to a credit repair specialist and maybe it'll work and maybe you'll spend money and maybe we'll work together in the future. Now I could say, listen, I'm with you and I'm engaging with you and I'm helping you, but at the same time, 90% of it's automatic. It's automated. I'm not actually having to go and teach them about credit because I built the course. I built the program to automate itself. I have assistants that run it. So I'm looking at this and I'm just saying like, and maybe I'm getting ahead of it. Maybe you're going to go to this point, but I just say like, how do we, over the course of a year, right? Because that's the way I look at something. I look at each year, how am I introducing value to clients over that year? And then it resets the next year.
Yep.
And so I'm looking at this and I'm saying, how do we, as the real estate team, make sure that these things are, the story is told, right? That the value, the why is being communicated, because that's what I always have to build systems, processes, hire assistants. I have to build it all because I realized you can't just build it and then just send it once. Sure. Someone has to be actively communicating.
Well, it takes training. And so, I would say a best practice would be a weekly scripting practice with you and Brent and your team and Brent, where, you're talking about, okay, hey, this week, when you were out there talking to your buyers and sellers or your homeowners and your renters, what were the concerns? What were the fears? What were the challenges? Right? What were the objections? Right. And then role play through those things, because that's how people are going to get used to them. So we do that a lot. We actually do listing presentation scripts around art of homeownership, because go to a listing and talk about art of homeownership and try and lose that listing. It would be nearly impossible. Right? Or talk to a buyer who's working with four other buyer's agents and not sure who they're going to choose. Talk about art of homeownership and see if they don't use you. It's like not even a fair fight, right? Because you're saying, oh, someone will sell you a house and somebody will commit to helping you with a better financial future, like and help you buy a house at the same time.
Yeah.
Jeff has a question here saying, yes, Jeff, to answer your question, the realtor can deliver all of this. They shouldn't, however, right? So the system delivers Concierge, the system delivers the Real Estate Wealth Digests, the realtor will do the CMAs there. The lender should be the one doing the annual financial review and the perfect mortgage promise. That's just something that we are well suited to do. So just to answer that question there. Next is the perfect mortgage promise. So, we have systems in place, Jeff, where, we're actively managing our clients' mortgages. So we can always tell them, hey, when you work with our team, you can rest assured you're always going to be in the right home and in the right loan. Right? We'll proactively ensure that. And if someone's ever thinking about going the cheap route, right? I'm sure you deal with this all the time. Well, so-and-so is willing to do it for 1.5% or 2% or whatever the case may be. And, your commission is at kind of a full commission scale. Or someone wants to buy a home and they're saying, well, Redfin's going to give me 1% back, or, so-and-so is only going to do it for $500. So if you're running into the challenge of being commoditized, this is where you want to really help ensure that doesn't happen. So the way that your agents would script this is that, Mr. Smith, look at this list of questions here. How confident are you that you'd ask yourself these questions at least once or twice a year? Mr. Smith's going to say, yeah, not very. I probably wouldn't ask them. Okay, well, let's say you did. Would you be 100% confident that you know the exact answer on how to answer that question as your life is changing and evolving? No, probably not. And I'd say, look, Mr. Smith, that's the problem with the real estate and mortgage industry, is that most homeowners or prospective homeowners think that it's their job to ask and answer all of these questions. We believe it's ours. So throughout the year, and every year when we're doing these annual financial reviews, we're going to ask these questions, and we're going to help you answer them, because no one has ever become wealthy saving 1% off their commission. No one's ever become a successful homeowner by, getting a kickback from the buying agent, right? That's something where they save a little bit of money in the transaction, but then not knowing how to do these things, when to do them or why, cost them thousands and thousands of dollars. That was my analogy of, buying the same product every year for 10 years, or buying one product that's going to last 10 years. That one product might cost you more, but it'll save you a ton. And so our clients don't use us because we are the cheapest. Our clients use us because we're the most valuable real estate professionals that they've ever come across, because our commitment is to help with all these things for the perpetuity of our relationship. What questions do you have about how we manage this, or how we can put it into practice?
I mean, I feel like that one's pretty
straightforward.
Yeah.
For the sake of time, I'm going to just run through this quickly. So this is helping people with accessory dwelling units, garage conversions, granny flats, casitas, investment properties, really understanding maximizing the value of their property, how to work intergenerationally if parents move back in, if children move back in, how to maximize the investment opportunity on different properties, how they can have different sources of income. And then lastly is our relocation services. So this actually encompasses 3 things here. So do you know the 3 most stressful events in somebody's life?
Marriage, buying a home, and pregnancy, or maybe funeral.
Close, yeah. Death, divorce, not marriage, but the other side of marriage. So death, divorce, and
wedding days. I should have said. Yeah. Looking at my wife, I would have figured it's the most stressful day.
Yeah, seriously. It's death, divorce, and moving. And so the 2 are obviously very, the top 2 are obviously very stressful. Most people wouldn't expect moving to be in there, but it absolutely is. And so when real estate agents say that they have great customer service, and that's kind of what they depend on, I always like to ask the question, so how do you help your clients with their move? Because it's obviously one of the most top 3 stressful activities in their life. And they go, well, we don't. It's okay. Well, that's a myth. So with Art of Homeownership, anytime one of your buyers or sellers goes into contract, this would be triggered, right? It's our relocation technology. So from the day it starts to the move-in day, which is, let's say July 26th here, it will timeline their move and tell them what they need to do and when they need to do it. So on their phone, which will have your brand and my brand, right? If I'm your lending partner, in this case, Brent, and they will see that we are helping them with all of this, all the things they need to do to rent moving companies, all the things they need to do to transfer their internet, TV, insurance, electricity, water, gas, all the things they need to pack up their home, how they can personalize their home with security or automation or cleaning services, how they can update all their information, forward their mail, driver's license, voter registration, any subscription services they have. And then they get to save money in the local market, 10% off furniture stores, grocery stores, gym memberships, and everything you see here. And then anything else that they would be, interested or concerned about. So there's a checklist for this, but all right from one place on their phone, they handle their entire move. And they get updates, they get emails, the concierge on the back end of this helps them understand what to do, how to do it. So our clients love the fact that we don't just leave it up to them to figure out how to do the 3rd most stressful thing in their life, that we actually commit to helping them save time, money, and an incredible amount of headache.
Mm-hmm.
What questions do you have about this?
Are you able to pick and choose the partners that are in it?
Yeah, it's a great thing. So you can actually, put your own providers in there. If you have like a moving company you want to use, a lot of the lenders on the platform have insurance companies that they actually are owners in, so they can put their own insurance companies in there. So there's a lot you can do. You would just, reach out to Updater, which is our partner here, and let them know kind of what you want to do and how you want to do it.
That's awesome. I was not expecting you to say yes.
Yeah. I mean, they can localize it specifically to your account. So it's something that,
because I work very hard to have partners across the board so that I can maintain a certain quality level. And so if I can make sure I at least always have them as an option.
Yep.
That
And
way,
you can
when the
also,
client asks, who do you recommend? I go, yep, they're in that list in internet. Go talk to this person.
yep, you could do the exact same thing here. Anyone who does any of these services, you can actually have House Happy update them as your kind of preferred people in that market, and they'll
Wow.
always work to them. So imagine going around to your heating and AC people, your painters, your plumbers, your roofers, and saying, not only am I going to ensure you get a lot of business through this platform, but I'm going to make sure that you help a lot of our clients, because obviously our brand means a lot to us. Is this something you'd like to be a part of? And if so, how can we work more closely to where as you're helping people, you can refer us as well,
Mm,
right? They would kind of be, they would definitely have some reciprocity that they would want to
yeah.
participate in there.
Yeah.
And the last two services here come from a third-party financing company that we partnered with, and we can help people renovate their homes prior to selling it, and we can also help people buy their new home all cash if they can't afford to buy it without selling their departing residence.
Mm-hmm.
How familiar are you with those services?
Brent's done a great job of, because we've used some of those.
Good.
And clients were really impressed. Even if they didn't need them, they were really impressed to know that they had the option.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like literally try and go into a listing presentation and not win that with that.
I use this
as
with
your
agents,
option.
by the way, too, to recruit agents. I tell them, well, how many clients do you have that you wish you could make a cash offer with, but can't?
Yep.
And what kind of competitive edge do you think that would give your clients, even if they still need financing? And every single one of them is like, that'd be a big deal.
Yeah. I asked the agent team I was talking to yesterday, I said, how many clients do you know right now who are in their homes, who want to move up, but can't because they have to write a contingent offer that won't get accepted? And they said, hundreds.
Hundreds. Yeah.
And I said, well, we just solved 100 problems.
I love
And
that.
they were just blown away. All right. And then I said, how many people, like, think about, you have your below average real estate agent, your average real estate agent, and then your art of home ownership, incredibly valuable agent. The below average agent would walk into the home and the client says, oh, I'm thinking of selling it. And they go, great, let's list it. Put it right in the market. Don't think about improving it at all. They just sell it as is because they want to make the money and move on. The average agent would say, well, Robert, the home is great, but we could probably upgrade it a little bit or do some things that would help us maximize the sales price. So I think if we put like 10 grand into it, we might be able to get about 30 grand more. And the client says, well, I don't have 10 grand. And they go, okay, well, let's just sell it as is, right? Like they don't even have the option. Well, the above average value-based art of home ownership agent says, no problem. We can actually solve that for you, right? We can finance that $10,000 worth of work. It doesn't cost you anything. The contractor actually pays the financing company, which is how they make their money. That $10,000 worth of work, if we sell for $30,000 more, that just comes out of your proceeds. So you just end up with a net $20,000 more than if we just sold your home as is.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, wow, okay, amazing. And again, you may not even need to do much, right? You could just be staging. Could be something as simple as that. Could, cost $1,000. But the fact that you offer it puts you on a different playing field or different level than anybody else. So obviously these are the 8 services that you can offer as an art of home ownership real estate partner. I can't imagine you or your team ever losing a client to a competitive real estate agent if this is who you are, right? Not necessarily what you do, but who you are. Like you kind of have to embody the fact that you and your team have a higher level commitment to the outcome of the success of your client. And if they feel that, they're not feeling it from anybody else because nobody else is even trying it.
Mm-hmm.
So It will help with your clients. It will help with your recruiting. You can communicate the value. And then from a systems perspective and how you scale it and how you use it, which is your first point, I mean, it's pretty easy, right? The system does the majority of it. Your lending partner does the other things. All you really need to do is talk about it and then answer your questions from the clients as they're coming in.
Yeah.
What questions do you have or how else can I help?
I mean, this is awesome. I'm just thinking about more and more ways to implement it. And also it was also accountability for me of just saying, am I really leveraging it the way that Brent's been trying to get me to leverage it? And I do leverage it, but I'm not doing it as good as I could. And so it's kind of nice to have someone else look at me, explain things, and then that conviction comes in and says, why am I not using that part more? Why am I not talking about this more? It's easy to get distracted with the million things that you do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look, it's not lost on me that there's a lot here. And, it really should be like our team has made it our ethos. It's who we are. Like I said, I mean, we don't talk about it because we have to remember to talk about it, or we don't put it into our marketing and on our website and have it be like the forward facing value proposition because, we think we should. We know it's the right thing to do. Right? Like if we're not doing it, we're not performing our just cause.
I think one of the biggest concerns, just being really transparent, with everybody here. I always get nervous when I'm not an owner or have a majority share when I partner with things, because it puts me, this is the truth, we depend on each other, right?
Yeah.
It puts me in a vulnerable position, because if this became our identity in many ways, and I want you to know, by the way, I use this and I teach a class on how I use services like this, and I get Facebook group leads and generate business from this. And I have like a 98% like success rate at winning the client if they're real and they open my message. So it's not that I don't see the value and know that it works. It absolutely does. But it's more of just like, if it becomes the major focus, what's stopping anybody, you or the company, from turning around and using that, quite honestly, against us, using it as that fashion? Again, I'm just being transparent, right?
Oh yeah, I totally.
But
I love the fact you're asking it.
My brain thinks about these things.
How would we use it against you?
You say, well, now, for every client, there's $1,000 setup fee.
Got it.
Right? Like things like that companies do. They absolutely do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. There's no way that any company could ever say, fixed costs are in place.
Of course. Can't do that myself. That's right.
Yeah, I think that it would actually go against the reason we started the company was not to make a lot of money, right? It was to actually make a difference. And if we make enough of a difference, which is why it's a limited platform, like Brent can only invite 10 agents onto the platform. If we wanted, all the money in the world, we'd just say anyone who wants to sign up can sign up. It's also the reason why we monitor usage and make sure that people are using it, because if people aren't using it and other people want to come in, we're going to ask them politely to open up their spot.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you pay Zillow to be a part of their platform? Not at all.
No.
Okay.
Build and generate, and
that's good.
How to do
one of the few.
One of the few. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that we have to partner with, that we just have to hope have a good moral compass. Yes. And that was something, that we'd have to ask everybody to depend on. And so keep in mind that you could do all of these things without art of homeownership. It would just cost you thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And
listen, the first time Brent, and I'm sure Brent knows this, the first time Brent brought it to me, I sat down with my team, because I am not your average agent. I build this stuff. I do build the systems and processes, but then that also means I have a healthy respect for the reality. And I realized that if I wanted to, I could go build this, but it would be such a massive amount of time and resources and maintenance. And it doesn't make sense for me to do that when you guys have already got it down, and you will probably be able to improve it faster than I ever could.
Yep.
And so it just doesn't make sense. It's an unnecessary burden.
So that could be your ripcord right there, right? Is that in the event that we ever get greedy and start charging whatever fee you're referring to, you could just say, well, we can't do this anymore. It's still going to be our ethos. It's still who we're known for, but we're going to have to go build it ourselves.
I see what you're saying. So like with someone like me in particular, who knows they could do it, just does not want to, has no desire.
Sure. Right.
I mean, there's so much here, man. You know this, the years it would take even someone like me who's very familiar with building stuff like this. it would take years to truly get this moving.
Yeah, well, you have my word. We're not charging $1,000 setup fee per client. Again, we can't promise any fixed costs because everything changes, but
Of course.
this is not something that we want to gouge anybody on. We are proud anytime someone wants to be a part of this, because it means that they believe what we believe, right? They believe the consumer deserves better, and they're not currently getting it. And so it wouldn't really benefit us to go against
You guys
that.
in Canada?
We are not. We actually had a couple of Canadian people reach out to us and ask if they can be on it in Canada. A lot of our providers don't offer their services in Canada, but
well, let me know, because my team and I, we're like my partners in the coaching company.
Yeah.
We're the biggest in Canada in every single province.
Well, we will put that on our radar. We see if we can get more and more requests for that.
We're talking,
so I'll let you know.
We're talking billions of dollars in production and things like that. So this is something that I want to bring to as many people as possible. That's why I'm here today, is to honor Brent, but also to push myself to learn more, to study more, because really I'm going to be presenting this in many ways the same a lender would.
Yep.
Because this is more about the agents and their clients. So I'm really focused on the agents in this process too. And so that's why I'm here. Definitely.
Awesome. Well, Robert, we are a couple minutes over. I want to be respectful of your time and everyone else on the call. Really grateful and appreciative that you took the time to be here. Brent, Willis, thank you so much for allowing us to connect with Robert on this as well. Team, everyone who's been watching and asking questions, if we didn't get to your question, I apologize. Please reach out to the support team and we'll definitely answer your question right after this. We'll send this recording out. Robert, if there's anything I can do to help you personally, don't hesitate to reach out. And looking forward to helping you with this and continuing to have you help more clients and grow in your empire.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Everybody. Talk soon, guys. Bye-bye.